Andy, good to see you. I've been a long time fan of Splunk, but we've never been introduced, so it's nice to meet for the first time.
Evan, thanks for having me. It's nice to meet you as well. I've heard your podcast before and honored to be part of the show today.
Thanks so much. So tell me more about yourself. You have a very long and interesting title, and about briefly your journey at Splunk. Give us a little background.
Yeah, my title is almost as long as my journey at Splunk. I've been at Splunk, it'll be about 10 years this summer.
Wow.
So it's been wild. The first half of my tenure, the first 5 years, I was working as part of our major accounts team with some of our largest customers, helping them get value from Splunk, all on-prem, interestingly. And the second half of my tenure, I've been helping launch our cloud SaaS business and working with customers to help them get value from Splunk on their cloud journeys, as well as with our SaaS solution. So it's been a great ride, and every day is a exciting place. So very grateful to be here.
Yeah, and certainly these days, every day is an adventure, to say the least. So in 2020, looking back on quite an interesting year, this rapid shift to cloud, remote work, companies needing not just to move to the cloud, but to have a cloud strategy. And now in 2021, we're also optimizing that strategy. So you have a really unique perspective. What's the key, based on what you've seen so far, to a cloud-driven transformation?
One of the things I really enjoy about my job, especially right now, is I spend a lot of time speaking with customers, especially executives, and really exploring that question and the answer. And the one thing I do know is there is no simple recipe to a digital transformation or cloud journey. I think one of the things I do see, though, is that you need to really be prepared for challenges up front. That if you aren't planning for challenges up front, you can overspend, make some bad decisions, just get overwhelmed by the sheer volume of data. And Evan, that's because on the cloud journey, especially as you get into multi-public cloud hybrid worlds, there's just a lot of complexity, and you want to be as proactive as possible. So you're thinking about things like, as you add cloud services, you have more to secure and monitor. As you add more cloud services, you have more potential points of failure and unpredictability. As you add more cloud services, you end up with more tools, which can mean data silos and blind spots. So what we've seen is that when you have a data strategy for your cloud strategy, you really can leverage your data to operate, innovate, and secure effectively and succeed on your cloud journey.
Yeah, great point. So you have a unique perspective of companies making this cloud journey, and I've seen a kind of divide between the haves and the have-nots in terms of who's been successful in implementing cloud first, and enterprises who might have fallen behind in this process, or maybe made a mess of their cloud migration plans. If so, for the folks who are falling behind, how do you recover? What are some of the approaches there that you've seen work?
Yeah, and the good news about that is that people do fall behind, and you can recover, But if I may, Evan, let me take a second and talk about why we see customers falling behind. And that is because cloud is such a buzzword today, and there's so many people in the space and providers where customers are running really fast to accelerate, especially with the pandemic, and they're moving very fast in their cloud journeys. And broadly speaking, a lot of the custom companies we see out there aren't asking questions like, how do I secure and monitor this new environment and world? They're not asking that up front. And that's exactly what is tripping them up. And it's getting to the point where they have to figure out how to recover. But again, the good news is you can recover. And the way you recover is by leveraging your data, to get that end-to-end visibility. And I would say specifically a couple things with that, Evan. Just bring your data together, especially for IT, DevOps, and security, having that all together holistically in one place. And also, everyone does monitoring, right? That's been around forever, and pretty much everyone is doing that right now. Is something up or down, or working or not working? That's critical, but you should be complementing that with observability. We see a big gap when people don't do that. But observability is very complementary to monitoring. So if monitoring is telling you something is not working, it's observability that will quickly tell you why it's not working so you can fix it. And I just remember seeing a recent survey too, that 27% of organizations responding said they just aren't able to respond quickly when things go wrong. And that's a real problem. And I'll just touch on one other point, that's security. People are getting in these, I mentioned multi-public cloud. These are really complex, complicated architectures and infrastructure, and you just need full visibility across them as well. So having that end-to-end visibility for security with the expanded attack surface is really, really important. So long answer, but in short, just to summarize, again, you can recover when you fall behind, but you recover by leveraging your data and achieving end-to-end visibility. That is the key to recovery.
Interesting. So we live in this sort of digital first experience economy now, particularly during the pandemic. And a lot of companies are now pretty incentivized to move to cloud to increase customer satisfaction, customer service and related metrics, NPS scores, et cetera. How does cloud help us enhance, improve, extend the customer experience beyond what was offered traditionally?
Yeah, I think the short answer to that one is we see a lot of organizations using going cloud native to really provide innovations that enhance the customer experience. We see them also leveraging a lot of emerging technologies like artificial intelligence and so forth, machine learning, but through public cloud providers, through their services to do so. And I think with digital transformations only accelerating, we'll just see more and more and more of that. So it's a great trend to see. I think when it comes to exceptional customer digital experience, there's really three pillars, let me call them three foundational pillars that we talk about that are really critical. The first is innovation, which is essentially just getting releases in the hands of your customers faster. The second is performance, and that is making every interaction fast and reliable and keeping customers engaged. And the third, of course, is security. There's always security, but security essentially is just building trust with customers. It's detecting threats before they become really big issues. And it's also maintaining compliance and data privacy. So for all these three pillars, cloud makes them all possible, right? Cloud makes them all possible, but the caveat of it is cloud makes them all possible as long as you leverage your data to build, optimize, and secure them, these digital interactions. That's key. And I often talk about customers who do that well. One that comes to mind to me is Domino's Pizza. And,
all right, now we're talking.
They have a good products, right? I mean, pepperoni. My kids are always begging for Domino's, and the smell of it drives them crazy. But in addition to their products, the way they've innovated is exciting. And they were pretty conservative when they started out with the cloud transformation, moving back office things like ERP and supply chain and other apps to the cloud. And they were able to save money and gain some operational efficiencies. But it's innovation. It's innovation that gave them a major competitive advantage. One of the things I think is really cool about Domino's is they have something like over 15 digital channels to sell their products. And that ranges from Alexa, home products or Google Home devices to smart watches, to phones, to social media, to Slack, et cetera. And today, 65% of their sales in the United States come through their digital channels. So they've innovated extremely quickly to achieve that. But that speed, the ability to move fast and innovate can only be done with the cloud, but also as long as you have your data. And I would just wrap it up by saying it's not just about having that data, it's about using that data as well, right? You can collect your data, which is the start, but you need to leverage your data in a platform that different stakeholders can do different things with it. And then having real-time interactions, because real-time means it's actionable. You can take action on it. And only a streaming data architecture makes that really possible. And again, it's not just about having your data, but providing it in a way that people can take action with that same data to do very different things as a platform. And that's what Domino's has done. It's separated them from their many, many, many competitors.
Yeah, you wouldn't think of them as a tech company, but in fact, they're one of the most innovative tech companies out there, despite having a good product as well.
In a very commoditized industry, right? It's interesting.
So Andy, for those Formula One fans out there, I've been reading some cool stories about what you've been doing with McLaren around agility and big data. Can you shed some light on what you've been working on?
Absolutely. McLaren is awesome. And it's cool. I am amazed by the complexity of Formula One racing in the cars. Roughly 18,000 parts on McLaren's Formula One car change every six weeks. Evan, that means that about 80% of the racing car will be different by the end of the season.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? And I mean, on top of that, McLaren sets its race strategy in real time. They stream data from the nearly something like 300 sensors on the car, but they're still adjusting from things that are not on the car, like weather changes and tire conditions. So it's really important for them to calculate correctly and not have network interruptions, because it could be the big difference between finishing on the podium or not finishing at all. And to combine that reliability with a need for instantaneous insights, they have a hybrid cloud infrastructure, exactly what we were talking about, this multi-public cloud hybrid complexity, but they manage it with success. And the record speaks for itself.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I'm not even a Formula One fanatic, but this kind of makes me want to get into watching Formula One. So diving a bit deeper into the technology, typically cloud solution providers generally provide their own homegrown, baked-in monitoring tools. Can organizations rely on those generally?
It's a great question. And we hear a lot of customers ask that same question when they really start going big with the public cloud providers, because they get tools from the providers as well and think, why would I need other tools? But the answer really isn't you need this tool or that tool. It's not either or, it's and getting a full picture of the old world and the new world and using them all together. And that's what we see as being absolutely critical, is leveraging those tools, but being able to answer real world, real-time threats with them as well. So think of it as a jigsaw puzzle. What the many tools will do are point solutions. Will give you a piece or two, but you need that full picture, and you need a platform to really complement those pieces and provide that full picture.
Yeah, interesting. From data to insight to action, phenomenal. You mentioned security, and we have this ongoing debate or shifting debate from on-prem to cloud, and the debate on which is better for security purposes. What's your take on the security question and how to ensure world-class security in a cloud environment?
Talking about our unique view, and what's really cool is seeing companies like Domino's innovate and McLaren and so forth, and having a front row seat at that is awesome. But at the same time, we see the risks that customers are experiencing as well when they go to cloud. And I mean, the recent attacks in the news, just make it apparent there is a lot of risk, and it's important to see all the data, all your data, on-prem and all the clouds, all your customer interactions, your sensor data, all that data and so forth, because you have an expanded attack surface. What's really interesting is today, the mean dwell time during an attack is 56 days. That's almost 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, so have a bad actor in your environment for 2 months doing who knows what is a real problem. So it's all the more reason why you need all the data together. But again, Evan, it's not just having that data together, but it's having a platform so you can take action right away, especially to investigate. So when you can have that data and can investigate quickly, you can catch people when they break in. Ideally, you prevent them from breaking in, but they don't spend 2 months doing who knows what in your environment. You can proactively catch them or throw them out more quickly. I would also add in, Evan, in security in a platform, what's really important too, when I talk to security teams, there is such talent in security these days. But I will tell you, every company I talk to, they have a limited amount of talent. They would love to have more people for security, but then they have top talented security engineers and analysts looking at issues that aren't real threats and spinning their wheels a little bit there. So I would also say that organizations should leverage automation, like risk-based alerting and things like automated playbooks, to really automate as much as possible and empower your security talent to really attack the real threats where they're needed.
Yeah, such a great point. So looking over the course of the past year, business leaders, face monumental challenges, agility, pivoting whole businesses as necessary, communicating with their teams in a distributed fashion, and customers who are often confused or concerned. And of course, cloud is in the news every day, every hour. We're being messaged. But what are the conversations about cloud that we might not be having in the press or, in the media on a daily basis?
So I think it's important just to know that cloud is a big data problem, and these issues that companies are having with cloud management, they're solved with data-led solutions. They are data problems. And I think it's hard though, because to your point, the news, it's a big buzzword, and there's so many vendors out there using words like cloud and hybrid and security and data. But Evan, most vendors out there doing that, saying those things, they're point providers. They provide one or two of the critical requirements at best. But what you really need is to find a platform and a vendor that can provide you with all of the critical requirements, whether it's stream processing or federated search or AI or machine learning or collaboration or orchestration, et cetera. It's really important. And that's why, frankly, we at Splunk, we have undertaken the largest architectural change in our history. And we've done that so that we can provide our customers with a data strategy for their cloud strategy that will help them solve the challenges in this modern world of multi-public cloud hybrid, and help solve the complex challenges that our competition does not.
Yeah, it's great to hear. So we're wrapping up. Just what are you most excited about as we move forward into this year? There's hints of optimism and a light at the end of this terrible tunnel we've all been in. What are you excited about, looking forward to next, whether it's next quarter or next year, perhaps?
All right, I'll answer that two ways. First of all, I'm very excited about baseball. Baseball season started last week, and you're probably a Red Sox fan, but I'm excited to see the season start. But what I am also really excited to see is how much we've progressed since last year. I mean, it's been a rough year for everyone, but in 1 year, the advancements that organizations have made, whether it's on Zoom video conferencing or just with innovation, digital initiatives, has been crazy, awesome, exciting. And you know what? It's only going to go faster and bigger. So I'm very excited about the future holds as far as innovation. And I think from a Splunk perspective, we have a phenomenal observability suite, which when we talk about multi-public cloud hybrid, one of the challenges is you're in this world where there's all kinds of different things from the old and the new, and you need visibility across everything. And that is where Splunk is uniquely positioned. So I'm very excited to talk to customers and executives about how we can provide them the visibility across this multi-public cloud hybrid environment that very few other people can. It's going to be a fun road ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm excited for you, and I appreciate you sharing some of your insights, and congratulations on all the success to date, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here, and thanks for inviting me, Evan.
Likewise. Take care. Stay safe.
Thank you.